can take to fine-tune the question. So today we have this another professor from Iqac. She's there. She's another in the afternoon session. She will be concentrating and she will be joining from me from the 11 o'clock session itself on question paper analysis. Well, the main concentration of today as the management request is COPO mapping. Okay, so how you can do it? I mean, how you are doing it and how you can analyze the way you are doing also will be taken care by Dr. Bhattacharya. Here also we can quickly I will tell you the tools, okay, so that you can form in smaller groups. Okay, you practice that tool, we will take up the quiz based on that. Because almost all the tools which you are going to see is similar pattern. But what is the objective? Yeah, that based on that alone it will be different. So yeah, we already saw one of the assessment tool, coding mechanism with the help of slider. So in that pattern itself, you have another tool. I am not sure how many of you have heard about. Or shall we make a small poll here so that I will complement what you have already not known. It will be a better choice. If you want to import your presentation and make it interactive, both the ways you can do it. So if you want to create a presentation based quiz environment, you can just click you generate the presentation. So if you would like to go for AI also you can go, or if you have existing slides also you can go, but that's subscription based. You can go from scratch. So you start from scratch. You can see here there are lots and lots of type of questions which you can ask. So you have multiple choice, you have word cloud, open-ended questions, you have scale ranking. Okay, whatever the question, then based on the user inputs, how you want the students to be give the inputs. You have different classes of questions you can ask. And if you are having something, for example, in your classroom, you are teaching something like parts of a particular tool or something. Okay, so you can put that image. Okay, you can ask your students to fill it with the what is the each and every items on the image. Okay, so like with that kind of quizzes also you can ask. Name the parts. Okay, you can put that image. You get that is what pin and pin on image. So you can see here defaultly you can see that a world map. Okay, this kind of activities instead of your default one, you can upload your image also, and you can quickly, okay, you can ask your students to name them. So this kind of interactions in the classroom definitely will make them involved first. Okay, and it will be like a good forum to engage your students in their active learning. So this is actually demonstrations already going on. You can pin any image, okay, and you can ask them to mark it. Okay, for them that image will be loaded, and you can pin it and you can enter the text on that. So that is how this works. And you can see here select answers, type answers. If you want to have an image, okay, like that you can integrate it with other tools as well. Suppose if you go into your PowerPoint, from there also you can add your Mentimeter. You have your PowerPoint. In that also you have an option to include it as an add-on. See, you can see here Mentimeter. Okay, so what you can create it there and you can add it to your PowerPoint, or you can add it as an add-on here and you can start using your Mentimeter like we did for Slido. Slido was one of the components which we tried to integrate with PowerPoint. Same way you can do it with your Mentimeter. So Mentimeter is like a presentation. When you are moving from one slide to another slide, your responses will be recorded. So it should be displayed on the classroom as well. So that you can verify your answers. I think many of you have tried Kahoot during your Corona period. That time Kahoot was very popular. Okay? But Mentimeter is very good in a very professional way. You can handle your quizzes because of the visualization effects. Okay, why Mentimeter is very popular is that the visualizations are very okay. So when I will run a quiz later on Mentimeter. So I hope you are able to have a clarity on how we are doing a quiz with the help of your Mentimeter. We give form groups, one tool each team can do also. And next is we have quizzes is being now Playground. So the tool name was quizzes previously. Now we have it is as Playground. It is also very good. Actually, it is being used in various practices also. you have various activity types, assessments, presentations, interactive videos. So what is this interactive videos is something where in between your videos, okay, you can handle your assessments. So we can create here, so your assessments. So you can have quick and interactive assessments being prepared with the help of your background. If you are, if you have all from where the questions has to be uploaded. Okay, so if you have your MCQs, as many of you have even like your ChatGPT and your other tools also you are using it for MCQs. Okay, so you can copy the MCQs and put it here, or if you have only the content, okay, that also you can put it, and you can proceed with creating with prompts, okay, or from curriculum or from scratch. Okay, anything you can use it here. So you have options to add it as a extension in your Chrome also. That is one benefit of your quizzes, background. So if you want to upload any slides you have already discussed in the classroom, so that also you can give it here. So for example, so we discussed about OB in one of our session. So I uploaded that presentation here. So it's customized here assessment. So these are all SaaS-based applications as a whole. You can collaborate. Okay, if you have two teachers, okay, you can share it and you can also collaborate and prepare your questions. And you can also share it instantly as a link or as a QR code to your students instantly. So that is the benefit. So you can see here what is the level you want to say. So your grade level, so the knowledge level, the question type which you are planning. Suppose if you want to have fill in the blanks, if you want to have an open-ended question, if you want to have a passage writing question, or only MCQs. Okay. So the number of questions. So what is the language? Okay. That much flexibility you have in these tools. Document. So you want the students to be learning while doing the assessment. So you can see here you are trying to prepare the assessment based on some materials which you have discussed in the class. While taking the assessment, the materials which the students can refer, that option is also available at the end. You can see here. Allow students to read this document while answering. So that is also is one learning. We should not that it is we have to have that flexibility as we have seen in the OB. Okay, so it is not a judgment we are making against the student. Okay, we are making them to learn. So in that case, that flexibility can be given to the students.
Will this randomize the questions?
Actually, this tool is not doing that. You have some specific tools to do that. LMS, purely LMS, if you go, that option is there. And your Google also, Google Form is there. It also does software from questions, also software. If you take Google LMS, that question is very important. the slide. Okay, the questions are being generated also is shown here. Okay, clearly. You can try to publish this, or if you want to preview the quiz, you can preview it. So we know that from where the question is taken and from which source of the material is being the question is generated. But for the students, okay, this is the okay. So you can see here what is if someone answers, so you can also reveal the answers accordingly. So for preparing these type of assessments, it will be a very we have to work for that. Okay, but if a tool does that, we can instantly use it. So it is like also a presentation based. So all the 20 questions you can see here. Okay, so this is a tool to explore. So it has generated 100 questions here. Okay, so you can publish it and you can. So this, see, if you are not, this tool is not permitting you to do something also. Some questions you can take it and put it in other tools. Okay, so there is this much flexibility. Very less tools are giving us to generate the questions. Next is have Socrative. So instantly you can spot learning gaps and real-time assessment insights you want to have. So you have one other flexibility. So this will be the outcome. You can create it like what we have done. Okay, sign in and generate quiz. What is the difference you can see here? This type of board will be appearing on the dashboard. Okay, so you may not do question in the presentable format. So your menti.com or your the other background which I showed you, it will be like a slide presentation. You are sliding it, displaying the answers. Okay, so this is like you know where you are in the class. Okay, so for that type of environment, you can go for Socrative. So you can see the GUI. So you just post the questions. That's it. Student will be starting to answer. This dashboard will be visible on the screen. Okay. If you want to have names or if you want to have whatever the information you are going to type in the form as an input, okay, that will be displayed here. It will show the score. If you want to show the results and responses, this type of grid will be visible for you. So this also will give you a competitive environment in the classroom. So you will see that how many of you were able to answer it correctly and how many of you are standing in which position. Okay. So this is also a very good assessment tools which you can have it in your class. Okay. See, our requirement is this one. If you want to have our question, long answers, what we call it as for exam style. So this is also very good. Okay, with CO map question papers also, you can try it out. It is nothing but question paper not yet. I have tried. You have to give a prompt accordingly, so that you will get your questions with CO and your knowledge level also. So we will try. Okay, I am introducing only the tools right now. And this jot form is also very good for quizzes. Okay. Jot forms. Okay, so not for all subjects, okay, but if you want to have match the following, you want to have quiz type, you want to have any activities like complete the sentence, group them, you can go for this particular tool. Okay, word wall. These are all combined with gamification also. Okay, certain tools if you want to, you are going for a class after lunch, it's very difficult to handle, right? Those type of classes. So to keep them active, you can use these assessment tools. And also one such tool also I will tell you. Three dice. So it's like a game. Okay. So mainly for English. Okay. So English faculty should set the answer. Okay. Okay, your rices will start filling. Okay. Rumble means okay. Restless means uneasy. Right. So you can see here. So the just 2 minutes between your classroom, you can ask this. So you are doing very good. So you have got vegetables also. So use type of activity based. Okay, to have some motivation, not like motivation kind of thing, to wake them up from the sleep. Okay. So like sudden last hour of the day also is a very difficult sessions. Okay. So if you have this habit in your classroom, they will also see that okay, some fun will be there. You can class like that. For every subject you can find. So this is also like a game-based component. Experience. Experience, right? Yes.
Download download
So this also is very good for maths, art, academics. Shall we start? So I don't know whether I will win. Student plays, they will win. But you can ask one of the students who's mischievous in the class to come and play this. third. So this type of gamification of, see, one or two I am listing it here. Okay, you can find it out, which is of your curiosity. I am just giving you an exposure that these kind of tools are also available where you can find it out. Now, finding out a tool is not a biggest challenge. Only you have to know how those things has to be included in the classroom. So I am just giving you a knowledge of this type of activities also, which is not academic. Okay, can also be used in the classroom environment. See, one more, a short way also I will tell you how you can create your quizzes. Go to your Google Forms. What happened? Anything, ma'am? You want to say something? Okay. So you can go to your Google Forms. Blank form. To find options here, get add-ons. Like I showed you in your PowerPoint. Here also you have wonderful tools for doing that. Add-ons. Okay, maybe I can go here. Google Forms, blank form, and go to add-ons. Just click the three dots. You will find option to get add-ons. Go and type quiz, GPT quiz generator for forms. This is very good add-on, which I have out of what I have explored. I am telling you. So very good add-on, GPT quiz generator for forms. So you have to install this GPT to come install. Click that and install. You will find this instance. Install this one, GPT quiz generator for form. I have installed it, so it is coming installed. You please click install and do the installation steps. Just click install. GPT quiz generator for forms.
First one.
Install பண்ண பிறகு நீங்க ஒரு பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த இடத்துல வந்துரும். Click that. Start with your option ada. And also konja problem. So you can see a start. Okay? Idu varunda vanducha. So click start. search for that YouTube. Okay? Give me some topic and you can find a YouTube video. All the concepts will come.
OBA போடுங்க.
See whenever.
Life cycle analysis.
Final research. So binary search is the algorithm. Okay, so you can see here it is having a 10 minutes video or something. So you can take that video. A YouTube video. Okay. Okay. Then everybody will notice this, I believe. Every YouTube is now currently with the transcript. That is the shortcut for us. Okay. So what we conceptually discuss, what we conceptually tell in our class, mostly will be repeated in almost all the video lectures. So what you can do, Satyamar, when you are preparing a quiz, okay, the quiz questions should be very appropriate to the topic which we are taking. So that you can refer these type of YouTube videos which is relatively matching to whatever you are discussing in the class or taking an example in the class. So this transcript can be the source for generating the quizzes. So it will give you appropriate questions. Okay. Instead of randomly asking any tool, okay, generate an MCQ for this topic. Binary search, if I give, it will give you some basic questions. But what conceptually I am taking about binary search, okay? So how that indexing, how that comparison happens, how that staffing happens, everything I will be discussing in the classroom. So for that, if I want to take this transcript and put it in any MCQ generating tool, not only this, any MCQ tool you can put it, then you generate appropriate MCQs you will get. I think some internet connectivity or the transcript is not generated. You can try taking the transcript. Every YouTube video has that. So this trick can be used. Is there any restriction in your internet? Anyone is getting? Other copy பண்ணி ஒரு questions போட்டுக்கோங்க. இங்க போட்டுக்கோங்க transcript.
இங்கே உங்களோட டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் அது என்ன சொன்னாங்க?
அப்ப இதுல டிரான்ஸ்கிரிப்ட்
சிலதுல வராதாம்மா, சிலதுல தான் வருது, சிலதுல தான் வருது, அதுலேயுமே இல்லை, நிறைய இதுல வரல டிரான்ஸ்கிரிப்ட்.
So this particular add-on will help you to place the questions with the answers directly on the Google Forms. Okay? Manual work also is getting reduced. See, question தனியா prepare பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க தான் வந்து ஃபார்ம்ல எடுத்து காப்பி பண்ணி போட்டு ஆன்சர்ஸ் ஃபில் பண்ணிட்டு இது பண்ணும்போது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா Google form will generate. So binary search க்கு நான் fancy கொடுக்காம ட்ரை பண்ணேன். So you can have an
லேர்னிங் வீடியோஸ் தான் வரும், படம் வீடியோ பாட்டுக்கெலாம் வராது. ஏதாவது கான்செப்ட் போடுங்க, அல்காரிதம் போட்டிங்கன்னா அது கீழே ஸ்கிரிப்ட் வரும். யூடியூப் வீடியோவா அது? யூடியூபா அது? நீங்கள் ட்ராப் டவுன் செக் பாக்ஸ் மல்டிபிள் சாய்ஸ் இனிமேல் நம்ம ஃபஸ்ட்டு டெஸ்ட் எடுப்போம்.
names, so you cannot identify exactly what's given there. So you need to just cope up with that. But apart from that, you can wait for participants to join. So once you have say some 40 students, you can start. Right? So you need to host it to post the questions. To host it, once you host, let everyone join. After everyone joins, you can start your quiz. 3, 6. You can go to kahoot.id, kahoot.id. Give the game pin 808 0536. The host of the class 100 sums. Right, so once PG starts here, you will have question with options. In your mobile phone, you will not have question there. Question will be on the screen only. Whoever is hosting, you can see the question on the screen only with the options. So that options will have some color and shape. Right, so in your mobile, you will have only that options. You need to pick them up. Simple thing. Right? Right, so we'll start. So it started. So we are T3. So starting 3, 2, 1. The first question is, what do most people check first after dropping their phone? So I have 4 options: the screen, the floor, their bank balance, whether anyone saw it happen. You have 9 seconds to complete. Click phone layer, click on no. You need to click in your phone.
Quickly you have to click it up.
Right, so we will get to see how many people have answered for each choice. How many people have answered for each choice? Next one to So what happens is it will give you the leaderboard. After each question, you will get to know what the points that each people has scored. So it's for correct answer as well as the time. How fast can you give your answer? Right? Right, so we go to the next question. It is true or false question. Tea and snacks were good during the break. Tea and snacks were good during the break. You have true, you have false. But by default, false is the right, so the leaderboard gets on updated every day. You can give the options there. Right, so you can give single answer or you can give multiple answer for the 4 choices also. Last question. Again, it's a 4 choice question. What was the highlight of the OBE meeting? The speaker, the presentation, the networking, the tea and snacks. The speaker, the presentation, the networking, the tea and snacks. Twice again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Next. So once you're done with your quiz, you'll have a podium for members who scored third, who scored second, and who scored first.
Thank you, sir. So next team who is coming quickly will complete.
So next question paper setting session is there, very useful session.
Please come next team who is willing to come. Team 1 ready or not? இங்க வந்து ஓபன் பண்ணிடுங்க சார். வாட் இங்க ரெண்டு மிஷின் இருக்கு யாராவது ஓபன் பண்ணிடுங்க.
Socket TV tool. So by using this tool, we have just created the quiz on computer networks.
And the window comes with the reader component. Reports, the live results, last time. சேஞ்ச் பண்ண முடியாத மாதிரி ஏன்னா ஒரு ஆன்சர் கரெக்ட்னு தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா மாத்திரத்துக்கு கூட நிறைய வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஷோ ரிசல்ட்ஸ் லாஸ்டா கூட காமிக்கலாம். இந்த ஷோ ரிசல்ட்ஸ் டிலே பண்ணிடுங்க சார். Progress வந்து 100% of completion, not all.
Yes. Progress.
So now we can see the responses. The right and wrong answers you get marking. Okay. So this is also a good option. Yes. எல்லாமே ஒரு analysis tool தான். Coming to admin.
The responses will be stored in the admin login.
Admin
We will
login.
share.
Assessment result we want to have.
Definitely. எல்லாத்தையுமே டவுன்லோட் பண்ணலாம்.
So it will be set the question in Google.
We can manually set our, we can use the AI as well. Both options are there.
So எவ்வளவு question எவ்வளவு பேர் இந்த क्वेश्चन கரெக்ட்டா ஆன்சர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க உங்க மேப்பிங் கூட நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஓகே ஸ்க்ரோல் அப் இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா 38 மெம்பர்ஸ் தான் இந்த क्वेश्चन வந்து ஆன்சர் பண்ணாங்க. அப்ப அவங்களோட அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் லெவல் ஆல்சோ யூ வில் பீ ஏபிள் டு see it immediately. அப்ப அவங்க கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணலாம் ஏன் இந்த பேர் வந்து இந்த क्वेश्चன் பண்ணாங்க. இதுதான் நம்ம வந்து லாஸ்டா பண்றோம். ஓகே in between நீங்க அசஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம் ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ் how far they are able to understand the concept. ரொம்ப போட வேண்டாம். அங்க ஒரு 5 questions in between the class will be improving the learning levels. So next jot forms please. Jot forms third one part. Thank you sir. Thank you team. Please thank you team. 6.
Team 2 ready, ma'am.
Team 2.
Team 2.
Yes sir. Quickly please. அடுத்த டீம் வந்து லாகின் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன். அதுல ஒரு போட்டோ குவிஸ் மட்டும் டிஸ்ப்ளே பண்ணுங்க போதும்.
more for comparison, visualization and analysis. So we thought of using question paper AI. Unfortunately, it was asking to buy credits. Therefore, we identified this survey mask is very useful. So actually, we use this. It's very effective. I myself want to use this in my class. So I also recommend the other faculty members also
My
use
also learned one.
Sir, you will give the same demo to all faculties and faculty. All demo faculty can be ensured that one Saturday will meet and give the demo to all faculty.
Next working Saturday, you mean?
Not but only. Thank you, sir. Next Saturday also we can plan.
Response one response.
Testing response first and means, like you said, you can see here.
Wonderful analytics also.
extremely analysis and visualization standards. So very effective one. Also, you can download the report. You can do comparison with other reports. A lot of options are available. So you can manage it as a chart. Even the questions are customizable.
There are many questions.
Yeah, many questions, but it's AI prompt only. So you can even customize this prompt. You can even customize the. You can use your own documents for uploading and you can.
Thank you, sir. Word wall. In Mentimeter, someone can share the QR your groups. You will try. Sorry, due to time constraint.
Actually, session is interesting, ma'am, but we need a lot of time to.
Next session, எல்லாரும் request பண்றதுனால we are skipping. So meanwhile, before Sir is setting, I will tell you, everybody has received this one?
Yes.
Okay. So the name of the app which I have linked is nothing but Pickers. Okay? Pickers.com. Pickers. P-L-I. அதிலே இருக்கு பாருங்க. அந்த ஒரு கொடுத்துட்டீங்க கூட pickers.com ன்றது அந்த வெப்சைட் அட்ரஸ் இருக்கு. So நீங்க ரெடி பண்ணிட்டு சொல்லுங்க, அதுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்க. Okay, there are 1 to 40 decks இருக்கு, 1 to 60 decks இருக்கு. Okay, so அப்ப நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம்னா board ல மேப்பிங் பண்ணிட்டு ஒரு செமஸ்டர் ஃபுல்லா you can use the same card, okay, for the student. Questions நீங்க கொடுக்கும்போது இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம 4 ஆப்ஷன் வச்சு கொடுக்கலாம், A B C. இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லா சைடுலயும் ஒரு ஆப்ஷன், ஒரு சைடுல A இருக்கும், ஒரு சைடுல B இருக்கும், C இருக்கும். சோ அந்த நம்பர் வந்து அந்த ஸ்டூடண்டோட ஐடி, ABCன்றது ஆப்ஷன். இப்போ இந்த கேஸ்ல டீச்சர் மட்டும் மொபைல் கனெக்டட் internet connected mobile வச்சிருந்தா போதும். Okay, so it is done with the image processing algorithm. When you are posting some quiz, okay, you have to ask the students to just raise your hands. Okay, A option na A மேல வச்சு, B option na B, C. Okay, so நாலு சைடு rotate பண்ணீங்கன்னா the options will be done. What we have to do is nothing but we have to use our mobile phone scan. Okay, and our answers you can also reveal it on the board. I will show you the demo after Sir's thing. I will show you.
For the next two is word wall. When we enter into the word wall, we can give a sign of this, and there are numerous activities there. So here I created a quiz related things. So we can make even quiz.
There நிறைய இருக்கு.
And we can
Find the
open the
match.
box
So நிறைய options இருக்கு word wall.
and spin the wheel. So if we ask So we can, once we set the questions, we can make use of any of the things. So when the correct map is happened, so you can set all the
So you can explore all these things after.
That's why we can explore this.
Thank you all team, and sorry for the team which was not able to present also. So you can share the questions which you have, I think you already have a group, share the QR code to the group, they will write out. Please raise your answers. எனக்கு இங்க இருந்து எல்லாமே ரெண்டு காட்டுங்களே எல்லாரும் தப்பா ஆன்சர் பண்றீங்களே. So let's raise this options. A, B, C, D, E, F. யாருமே தப்பா வரலையே. C. இல்ல எல்லாரும் C. அது சரிதான். கரெக்டா நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாம் ஆன்சர் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா உங்க பேர்லாம் வருதுதா. சோ இது வந்து கொஞ்சம் நல்லாவே ஒர்க் ஆகுது. இது நல்லா இருக்கு. இது நல்லா இருக்கு. ஆன்சர் பண்ணுவோம். நான் ஆன்சர் ரிவ்யூ பண்ணும்போது we can see. So that's an option. Reveal answer C. C is the answer. Okay. So Anmari, I can go for next question. Control வந்து ஆப்ல இருந்து பண்ணலாம்.
ஆப் நேம்
So the next question உங்க எல்லாரும் வந்துச்சா? Open educational resource. சார் தீன் வந்து சார் சாரி ஆன்சர் கரெக்டா சொல்லிட்டாரு.
பேப்பர் மாத்தி இஷ்டம்.
அது என்ட்ரி that is defined. It is already given that there is a deck of 40 cards and 60 cards, 64 cards. For class strength base பண்ணி நீங்க டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். In the website, the same website. I am not able to scan because of internet. Okay. First level. The next question. Just hold the paper. Now what is there? And the passport money can be shared. Okay? Just Google it, download, click and start. So next one, last one. Fourth question. Again, internet does insta money. Slide deck is a crystal solution. நல்ல டிஸ்டன்ஸே வரும் நல்ல இன்டர்நெட் இருந்துச்சுன்னா அங்க இருக்கிறது எல்லாமே வந்துருச்சு very nicely designed. Okay, you can scan it from a longer distance also. The teacher scan பண்றதுல திருப்பி மாத்திட்டா கூட மாறிடும். Good choice. Actually, this plastic cards are Amazon lyu irukku. It is costly. 3000 அப்படி ஆகுது. Print out எடுத்துட்டீங்களே tablet படிக்கிறங்க 500 ரூபாய் முடிஞ்சிரும். Okay. So it's a very good choice without mobile phone கூட. So these are the tools. Please don't stop here. Start using one or two tools in the classroom also. Okay. So next we will have a discussion on question papers framing. For that, ma'am will first introduce you about certain verbs which we are going to use in the question paper. You can retain the same theme. Okay. We always do it with mixture of departments. Then only you get have different opinions. So computer science faculty மட்டுமே பண்ணீங்கன்னா work out ஆகாது. எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து பண்ணும்போது different ideas. So first we will allow you to discuss, take any one question paper and give opinions among yourself. Okay? And then we will debate on whether it is right or not.
Expectation of learning COPO attainment in mind, we are moving into the next session titled COPO attainment, documentation and readiness. The resource person for the session is Dr. Veltech, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Iqac, Chennai. Ma'am is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering. She has completed her PhD at the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. She has extensive teaching and research experience with 24 years at PIT Vellore, SRM and NICCR. She has collaborated on 3 funded research projects in Department of Science and Technology. She has served as a consultant in payment design projects. She has published more than 30 research articles, including Q1 journals. She has developed NPTEL courses in collaboration with IIT Madras. She has successfully guided 4 PhD scholars to graduation. She actively contributes to accreditation activities, including post-file preparation. Her expertise includes COPO attainment, documentation, accreditation process, and institutional readiness. We are happy to have you, ma'am, today.
Setting as a group activity. Okay, so before we start with the group activity, maybe 15 to 20 minutes presentation on what should be their question. Okay, and followed by we will do an activity of a question paper setting, either by selecting a particular paper on a group and you can redesign the question, or you can take your own question that we will decide it. Okay, so fine. Before this, I always start with NITTR history, and hope you all know, maybe other teachers have also told you. NITTR, we have 16 plus years. Initially it was PTTI, formed in 1964. Currently we have a deemed university status since 2024. Okay, so the main role of NITTR is to train teachers, and we are doing this here now. So to start with, okay, I can see a group like a experienced group as well as some new faculty over here. Okay, now let me ask a question. Have you seen your curriculum? Have you seen your curriculum? Yes. Okay. So fine. This is curriculum is for something else. But the question is, I hope everyone have seen your curriculum, right? Okay. See, you know the curriculum. Okay, we have a syllabus with us. We teach something to a student and we assess through examinations. You have two different forms of examination. One is a formative examinations and other is a summative examination. Formative examinations, what we do is, see, we have an internal assessment examinations. Okay, and what for this formative assessment is? Why do we give a formative assessment?
For instant, immediate assessment.
Sorry, sir?
Immediate assessment.
Immediate assessment. No, why do we do that?
To know the progress of the students.
To improve the teaching learning process.
Okay, not just only to improve. Yeah, correct. We improve the teaching learning process. It is not only to assess a student, not only to find out what is CO-PO mapping, not only to check whether CO has attained or PO has attained. There is another thing as rightly pointed out by, sorry, your name, sir? Okay, Paniswamy said that it is also to improve a teaching learning process. Okay, so how do we do that? Assessment in teaching learning process. How do we do that? Is my question clear?
Yes.
Okay, see, we conduct a formative assessment. One of the purpose of a formative assessment is also to improve a teaching learning process. So how do we do that?
Assess through surveys.
Through?
Surveys.
Through
Feedback.
surveys from where?
Feedbacks. That is feedback.
So if you are conducting surveys and feedback, then why do you need an assessment?
Assessment is for valuable measurement. So this is only to understand how far the outcome is attained.
No.
Changing teaching methodology.
Sorry?
Changing teaching methodology.
No, I understand. That is feedback. As a result of feedback, you change your teaching methodology or you reply to that feedback. Okay, you take measures to improve. That is teaching methodology. My question is, how do you take you have an assessment, how this assessment will help you in improving your teaching learning process? Feedback is different set. Okay, we take a feedback, from the feedback we improve. But there is no way related to assessment, right? Is my question clear? Okay, is this discussion clear? How is this assessment related to a teaching learning process?
We can classify the students categories.
Okay.
This is how many are enrolled and
Yes, yes. So you, based on an assessment, you wanted to classify the student. Okay, or based on an assessment, you wanted to say that, okay, I have taught a CO1. I have engaged for 10 to 12 hours of a class. Okay, and this 10 to 12 hours of a class resulted in for a student have scored 50% of the mark. Okay, and CO2 you have engaged another 10 to 15 hours. Okay, that was relatively maybe 75% of the mark. So somewhere my teaching process, teaching learning process means my teaching way is missing or something is going wrong in the CO1, that particular topic. So you can do these kind of a minute analysis through an assessment. Okay, so the main purpose of an assessment which the accreditation boards are looking for is that feedback mechanism. Are we doing it now? Are we doing it now? Not through feedback, not through a student feedback. Feedback from assessment. Are we doing it now?
We are doing it by
Yes, sir. Doing it by? Through students' feedback.
no, not for students feedback. Result analysis.
Result analysis you are doing and you are saying that you have attained a 75% result or not. Then how are you implementing that?
Cat 1, Cat 2 we are having. Through that we are categorizing the students.
Okay. So from the result analysis, so you say that these are the students who have scored less than 50% of mark. So you are giving a feedback. You are so 50% of the mark. So you are taking an additional class for them, extra classes for them, solving extra tutorial classes for them, numericals problem for them. Yes, I understand. That is based on the students' classes. This is one way. Okay, after your continuous internal assessment 1, so you do a result analysis, combined result analysis, and from the result analysis, you classify or you find out list of students who have scored less than 50% of the mark, then take that as a feedback and conduct the extra classes for them. Okay, that is not a complete feedback. Okay, that is not a complete feedback. Feedback for your teaching learning process should tell you where that went wrong. Okay, it is not only identifying whether which class of student is a slow learners or which class of student is a fast learners or that way. Our feedback is something which should tell us where this process is wrong. Only if you can identify the problem, then only you can bring in the solution. Sorry?
Discussing with the student in the class.
Discussing with the student in the class on which part you will discuss.
How much they are playing.
Do you think that you will get a correct result? Means you will get the correct response? Okay. Your assessment can say everything. Okay. We have a data. Your assessment can say everything. Okay. So if
Number of questions answered.
no, a number of question answers. What is the mark gained in that particular topic?
Can we take in this way, like 50 to 55, then 60 to 65, like we categorize?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. But you have to categorize question wise. Okay. You are doing it. Actually, you are doing it, but you are not closing the loop. Okay. That was my first focus here. Means that is missing here. So I wanted to say that you close the loop and take the feedback. Okay, and feedback, and this will help you in a teaching learning process. So now if you look into its efficiency of means why a student needs an assessment, it is not just for it is not just to quantify the outcome. Okay, it is also meant for a teaching learning purpose. Okay, so before you start with your assessment, the main thing that you have to keep in mind is this: student learn what is assessed, not what is taught. Do you all accept? If I ask a question, what is, I am civil engineer, so I will give an example of civil engineer. If you ask a question, what is concrete? Student will answer only for it, what is concrete. If I ask which concrete is applicable for this particular location, he will learn application oriented. Okay, so student will learn only what is assessed. Whatever you teach, they will always focus towards the exam point of view. Do you all accept this? Okay, so student will learn only what is assessed. This is a basic thing why we go for a COPO or outcome based education. And that this is where you have an assessment important in the outcome based education. Okay, assessment says whether your outcome are met or not. Okay, so assessment, whatever student learns, it is being assessed. Okay, so engineering student, at what level educations we are expecting from them? Definition or understand level? Application level, so different cognitive level, right? So are we putting everything in the question paper? What we expect? What we expect, are we putting everything in that question paper? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so this is something you have, if you know there are different cognitive levels, you can put the same question either as a recall question or application based question or design oriented assessment. Okay, the same question can be asked anyway, means any type. So define transformer efficiency or calculate and analyze transformer efficiency for any specific load. So same thing, design a transformer for a rural applications. You can pick any of this question for your exam. Okay, so if you ask this question, student will only learn recall type. Okay, if you put this question in this assessment, so you are making a student to learn application based question. Okay, so assessment plays a critical role here. So that is what I have put here, improves the quality of education. Okay, so assessment improves the quality of education. So when you sit to prepare any question paper, this is the first thing which you have to get in mind. It is not this OBE or accreditation, this is secondary. This is first thing for a teacher that should come in mind. The question that I put, okay, that is something you have to keep in mind. The question that I ask improves my teaching learning process. Okay, that is something you have to keep in mind always. Okay, so then this is something, a key message you take it when you prepare a question. If assessment test memorization, student only memorize. If you test the application, then student learn apply. This is what we were discussing. Okay, fine. See, you might have seen this examination reform policy by AICTE. Do you have a chance to read through this? Okay, 2018. Okay, if you see this, okay, OBE based framework, okay, how the assessment has to be. If you get a time, just go through this. Okay, I'm not going to focus on this, but if you get any time, just go through this. It will be useful for you. Okay, so but you know all this, right? See, when you have this is the framework of our curriculum. See, you have a PO, okay, and you know what is competency. Okay, competency. You know what is performance indicator, and we frame a question based on the performance indicator. Okay, so for every PO, okay, so for every program outcomes, you have 12 program outcomes, 12 or 11 program outcomes. So you have 11 program outcomes. So program outcomes cannot be quantified directly. So you have a competency. Okay, so for each competency you have a performance indicator. So performance indicator is something measurable. Okay, you measure only this performance indicator, and this performance, so you frame the question based on the performance indicator. I will give you an example so that you can work on your question papers. Okay, so we work only on the performance indicator based. We frame the question based on the performance indicators, PI. Okay, now where is CO here? Where is CO here? Just think of, I'll give you an answer if you slides down. Okay, so this is one such, let's see, program outcome. See, this is a program outcome 3. Okay, design and development of solutions. Okay, so this is your program outcomes. So one program outcomes may have many competencies, and each competencies may have different performance indicators. Okay, so now if you see this performance indicator, see, you have to frame the performance indicators here. Okay, you can use these verbs, generate, build, utilize, all this. Okay, I'll give you an example with a specific level, and afterwards you can think about the performance indicator for your CO. Okay, so now if you see this, PO is a broad ability. Okay, and competency is what specific ability within a PO, and the PI is it's an observable action, correctable actions for a specific competencies, and then assessment is evidence to attain this PA. Okay, so you can take an example that, say for example PO, apply an engineering knowledge to solve a computing problems. So which PO is this? First one, PO1. Okay, so now the example for the competency is apply programming fundamentals. Okay, in the programming fundamentals, you wanted to test the variables, conditions, loops, whether everything is used. So this becomes one of your PI. Okay, so when you form a continuous assessment exams or semester exams, okay, so you frame a question from this. Okay, selection of variable, conditions, output, okay, or any test, everything, you frame a question on this. Okay, So when you frame a question, this is something you have to keep in mind. Okay, so now this is one such example I have given here. See, one of PO1 engineering knowledge. Okay, so like this is a PO. For example, you are teaching a computer science, you have a subject Python based coding. Okay, so you want a student to apply engineering knowledge to solve a computing problems. This is my PO. Okay, so my competency is to understand the applied programming fundamentals. Okay, use the particular software logic and mathematics for problem solving and develop and test a simple software solution. Okay, these are my competency. Now for this competency, understand applied programming fundamentals. So programming fundamentals, so you want to select a variables and suitable data types. Okay, and if you have any loops, what is applied control structures such as loops, if loop, all these in the programs. Okay, then you write and execute, test the program. Okay, these are my performance indicators. So I give the questions on these performance indicators. Okay, and see, all performance indicator is what we put together, we call it as a CO. This is fine. All performance indicator, everything put together is what we call it as a CO. Is that clear now? What is CO? All performance indicator put together is what we call it as a CO. Okay, so now if you see, the CO for this is develop and execute Python program using control structure. Right? So now you are going to frame a question based on this performance indicator. Okay, you are going to backward. If you do not have a performance indicator, you have a CO. Okay, frame, just do or write 3 or 4 performance indicator and then frame a question based on that. Okay, so if you see that if this performance indicators are quantifiable, based on this you can say whether my PO1 is met or not. So now you have a meaning, right? So how CO is connected to PO, right? Any doubt here? Any doubt here? Okay, so fine. So this is all, we'll skip for now. Okay, this is some sample questions. Okay, this is a lab related courses. We'll skip for now. Okay, we will just take this as a takeaway and we'll start working with the questions. Okay, so start with PO always. When you have a question paper setting, do not start with the syllabus, start with the PO. Okay, break into competencies, define your PIs and then prepare a question for this. Okay, so this is what you have to do it. Okay, so CO is something that is bridge between a course assessment and the program outcome. So whatever you are assessing, the program to relate it to a program outcome, so we use course assessment, this one CO, right? Is that clear what is CO? So we are trying to find out whether our CO is achieved or not. Okay, but based on the CO achievement, so we are connecting it to program outcomes. Okay, through assessment. Everything is done through assessment. Okay. Fine. So this is the order. Assessment questions. So we say this a bunch of program PI gives us CO. So from PI it is a competency, from competency it is PO. Okay. So we skip all this in the curriculum. We say assessment question is mapped to CO. CO is mapped to PO. Okay. So but keep in mind this assessment question has to come from your PI. Right? Okay. So now these are different list of POs. Okay. So mostly for all engineering, you will see PO1, PO2, PO3 will work. Okay. And if you use any software tools or any tools, any dictionaries, so engineering tool usages, then you will have also have PO5. Okay. And this individual collaborative works. If you have it, maybe for a laboratory, you will have this. Okay, and if you have a software or anything that is developing, okay, lifelong learning, so you can also include PO11 here. You don't need to include all PO12, PO11 in your curriculum, in your course. Okay, so find which one is suitable for your content and you map it accordingly. Okay, it is not necessary that all PO to be mapped to all CO. Okay, So find which one is suitable. So from PO1 to PO3, generally we will, or for all engineering courses we will get it. Okay, for all engineering courses PO1 to PO3. And if you have any equipment usage, software usage, PO5. Okay, and lifelong learning, if the subject is evolving, see the history, and if the subject is evolving, then you can use this lifelong learning. Okay, and any kind of presentations, see you are giving assignment. How are you evaluating your assignment? Individual assignment or group assignment?
Group assignment.
Group assignment. Okay, group assignment, presentations. So then you can also include this, maybe not at the level of 3, maybe at the level of 1. Okay, so fine. So these are the list of program outcomes. Okay, so fine, we will start preparing our question paper. We will do it later afterwards during afternoon session. We will start preparing the question papers. Okay, so now when you prepare a question paper, there's something what you have to keep in mind is, so this is, we are preparing for a formative assessment. If you are doing a formative assessment, one thing you have to keep in this, if the loop has to be closed, it means you have to take the feedback from it and implement and correct it in your teaching learning process. Formative, that is why it is formative. Okay, fine. So now this is something, if you have a formative assessment, so continuous feedback, that is very important. This is a definition of a formative assessment. You take it during learning and you get a continuous feedback from the assessment. Okay, fine. So now, see when you frame a question, okay, so when you frame a question, I'll just give you an example of a question here. When you frame a question, see if you ask the question something like this, write about concrete. Okay, I can write anything about concrete. Okay, anything about concrete, and so it looks very vague. So do not give a question something which is very vague. You can even be very specific in the same understanding level. Okay, same understanding level. So like explain the properties of a fresh and modern concrete with suitable example. So write about concrete, they will focus on the fresh and modern concrete property. Okay, so do not give a vague questions, too vague questions like this. So then it will be a problem for you to prepare a answer for it and to correct it. So whoever writes anything about concrete, if that is true, then you have to, if that is correct, you have to give mark for them, right? So you may have multiple answers, and that is not the assessment here. Okay, so you know this, right? There are different Bloom's taxonomy, and see for theory we follow Bloom's taxonomy, and for a laboratory course, for lab assessment, psychomotor level. So it is, you have both, okay, K as well as P. Okay, so now let us focus on this one in K. P I will tell you during afternoon session. Okay, so the same question can be kept in an understanding level, also in an evaluate level. Okay, so how do you fix the norms, cutoff? How do you fix the cutoff for this?
Based on the complexity, ma'am.
Based on the complexity, yes.
Complexity of the problem.
Okay. Say for example, I am conducting a question, a test for 100 marks. Okay. Always say that, okay, 100 mark question. Okay, what is the percentage for the evaluate level? What is the percentage for apply analyze level? What is the percentage for understanding and remember level?
Year wise, combinations we have to change.
How is it?
If it is the 5 year students, we go for K5, K4. If it is first year, K1 and K2.
K2. Okay.
From there we have to change the number.
Okay, but I think you need to change that because if you have seen a 12th standard school question paper, okay, you see that the students are used to do analyze apply level. Okay, so I think you want to revise that.
Yes.
You can form a apply analyze level at any standard class. Okay, to their knowledge. Okay, I'll show your syllabus, one of the syllabus. example, I will take this. If I ask a question in this, does it means you have to map it to, your question has to be mapped in aligned with your CO. Okay, so but not necessarily that 100% of the question that comes here should be always in a K4 level. Okay, you can keep a limit. For example, I ask 80% of the question in the K4 level, remaining 20% in the K2 level or K3 level. Okay, so this matters for distribution of a cognitive level. Okay, so when you frame a curriculum, just be careful in what you are giving here. Your assessment should map with the curriculum. Okay, your distribution should map with this curriculum. Okay, so so if you have 100 mark distribution, see to that. Okay, 40% or not more than 40% is in the first 2 levels. This is general rule we follow as a thumb rule. Okay, see to that 40% of the mark is not more than K1, K2 level. Okay, and 60% level above K3 or above that. Okay, so you distribute in that way this. This is the general rule that can be used to design your curriculum cognitive level. Okay, 40%, that is what even AICT recommends. 40% in K1, K2 level, 60% above K3 or above.
Even if syllabus defines the CO level as K2, we have to.
No, that's what I am saying. You use this for designing your curriculum syllabus. Okay, do not put it this way. Okay, do not put it this way. You design it in a way that 40% in the K1, K2 level and 60% above K3 level, K3 and above. Okay.
If the year increases, like
Any
complexity
year,
will-
no, not necessarily. Sir. Complexity, according to the, it comes according to the knowledge level. Okay, so with the particular knowledge level, you can define a complexity.
If this question is right, year wise you cannot say.
No, not year wise.
Yes.
Okay.
Never be talking
No,
about.
not year wise. If you, for example, first year students, you have a mathematics, that mathematics
Is
can
meant
have
for-
an applied level question.
Yes.
Okay, or some engineering mechanics can have an applied level question. It is not year wise. See, one thing is if you give at the first year level, if you give a question of define and understand level, they will get tuned to only that kind of a question, and it will be very difficult for you to tune them to the higher level when they come to the higher class. Okay, so if you are following that, it is the correct time to change. Okay.
Even part C can use the K5 and K6.
Yes, yes. K5, K6, yes. Okay. So I have a few verbs that can be used at a different cognitive level. I'll just project that and then we will start our group activity. Okay. So if you said about part C, whether it's level 6. So these are the verbs you can use. Okay. Judge, critic, defend, justify, apprise, conclude. Okay. Likewise, create level, design, construct, formulate, develop, produce, plan. Okay. One such example for critic. See, I have given example everything with the students getting. You can make it on your own. Okay.
And we have a debate in our department.
Yes, sir.
Already our syllabus consists of design tree. Design tree, binary search tree. It is already in the syllabus. Again, we are asking in the same question in the question paper. It is not coming to the design.
Yes.
It is only remembering.
No. Design is see, you give a data. Okay, you train them with a specific set of data. Okay, and do not ask the same set of data in the examination. And that is how if you ask the same set of data, then as you said, maybe they will memorize everything and put it in there. Okay, design question is to be like with a new set of data, different concept, maybe same application. Okay, it has to be that way. Same application, design something with a different set of data. Okay, maybe a small change in an assumption that you do, and what is the consequence of that in the design. Okay, so as you said, if you put whatever you teach in a classroom and you put same thing, it will become a replicate of it. Student will never learn beyond that point.
Maybe it's like
Okay. This is something I wanted to ask at the end. Anything else?
Case study kind of questions.
Case study kind of question. Say critically, okay, you give a case study. Okay, say that find out what is the issue in it. Then you can put it in a plate. They are finding out the issue in that case study, depending on what kind of a situation you are giving. Scenario-based questions. Okay, that can come in a create level, evaluate level. Scenario-based questions. I have an example here for a scenario-based question. Okay. No one says don't frame higher level cognitive level. Okay. Accreditation board will ask you only if your question is at the lower level. Okay.
In the same examination reforms PDF, they specify like K5 and K6 should be covered only through projects, not through theory.
No, ma'am. I think it's like alls. What you are saying is correct. See, depending on the subject. Okay. Depends on the subject. You wanted it. Say for example, you have a subject that is integrated with the lab, or subject that is in the real practical application, but you are taking it in a theory. Okay, those can come evaluate and treat. Whatever, no, there is something like 80% you keep that K4, but not as a strict rule K4. Okay, K5 and K6 also fine. Okay, see, this is okay. This is something I want you to check your question paper and find out what is the percentage level. So you can do it when you solve a group activity. Okay. Take a question paper, not necessarily to the semester, can be a CIA question paper. Check how many percentage is your recall or memory based. Okay. If it is more than 40%, please go for corrections. Okay. Thank you. See, this is something which this is something relevant to which I was asking. I need something in the class. I put the same thing but using a design. Then it is considered as a low level question only. See, if you, for example, you can put it this way. I teach in the class what is Ohm's law. Okay. If I ask the same question, what is Ohm's law, then it is going to be a low level question. Okay, recall and understand level only. Okay, now you can put this question. I teach it this way, I give numbers, now I ask, okay, the circuit has a resistance of this much and the current is this much, calculate the voltage drop. Now this become an apply, right? Become an apply level. Okay, so question is not necessary that you gave an answer already in the classroom and you frame a question for that, please don't do it. Okay, fine.
If I give that type of question, it is always out of syllabus question.
No, you teach the concept.
Will come and say
See, one more thing is, see, when I completed my BE in 2000, okay. 2000, by then it was not to a specific university. The teacher who teaches will never set the question paper. Someone else will someone else will test the question paper. The common thing what we have is only the curriculum in front of us. We have a syllabus and we stick to the syllabus and we read it and we answer it. Okay. That is something advisable. Okay. And not necessary that whatever you reproduced in the class, that same thing has to be questioned in the examination. Maybe 40%. That is why 40% is the lower level maximum.
maybe we have to modify the syllabus in such a way that these type of questions may come.
Syllabus will tell you only, I have syllabus, I showed you, right? It will only tell you what level you are covering.
Ma'am, we have the restraint that the assessment pattern is fixed. Our CIAs, our end semesters, all these patterns are fixed. And the practice here in the Economics Institute is that we don't correct our papers ourselves also. So when we have this kind of a thing, what we usually are accustomed to is that whatever we take, we give a key accordingly, and that is what is evaluated. So when we go for higher order, what happens is the key we may be able to give, but if the person who's correcting at the point of time is not accepting or something,
then you have to give a rubrics for it in such a way that, okay, for example, if you are asking to, just correct me if I am wrong, if you are asking to design something, okay, and for the designing, they are assuming something, because of that the numerical number will not be the same finally. Okay, so you will have different answers for this. Then you have to frame your key in such a way that if this is given, mark has to be given this much. So you have to very clearly state in a rubrics that for this specific step, this concept, this much mark.
So we in the rubric question is when higher order takes a question, we are making it a marks split up you have to give.
Put in a rubrics itself, this system.
so instead of giving the answer key, it is better that we give the rubrics that.
Yes.
Rubrics and also the keywords you can add. So the key, whatever you want to leave.
See, it has to be
This is there, what is the mark?
Okay, not the answer, not the number. Okay.
Because that is the usual practice. That is where we have always had this doubt how we can include higher order when people will answer on their own.
That's true. You give a rubrics for correction, not the answer number. Okay, that is difficult.
Question wise rubrics we have to do.
Oh, follow the question by yes.
In answer key, we can state like, for example, the diagram you can give 5 marks. It will be always.
Yes, yes. Okay. So these are the action verbs that you need to remember your attention, please. So these are the action verbs you need to use it for framing the question paper. Okay. Cite, define, describe, duplicate, identify, label, list, match, name, quote, recall, state. All these for L1. Okay. For L2, so classify, convert, discuss. Okay, see discuss comes in L2 also, and you can use it in different level also. Okay, explain, interpret, again interpret also, depending on whether that is already discussed in the class. Okay, interpret, paraphrase, predict, summarize, translate, illustrate. Okay, so these are terms which you can use it for an L2. Okay, right? Now L3 apply, this we have already seen, calculate, compute, construct, demonstrate, execute, implement, modify, solve, use, determine, draw. All these verbs you can use it for L3. L4, like breakdown, categorize, compare, contrast, differentiate, distinguish, examine, investigate, outline, separate and relate. Okay, fine. And L5, L6 we already saw it and you have it here. Okay, right? So different level of different cognitive level. So how do you frame a question with this? Now shall we start with that group activity, correcting the question papers? Okay, so you should have a syllabus with you and the question paper with you. Okay, now I think group.
We already formulated a group, but madam is requesting like with the same department. Okay, we don't want that again. So you have to share the opinions of other departments also, so that you will also need information. How they do, how they practice in defining all those things. That will be a better idea works. Agree? Or you want a department wise? So you will get mixed ideas. Okay, everybody will not see the same perspective. Same, you have a mixture of different people from different departments. Yes, see, madam is teaching from civil perspective. If you ask me, I will teach from computer science perspective. So if you have a mixture of different perspectives of your same college or same institution, you will get some ideas, okay, how they are doing and how they are putting the action words.
So we'll do it maybe 20 minutes. Okay.
You must discuss you can take any subjects. The ideology is same. Okay, the action verbs, everything is same. Only thing is syllabus you have to adjust. This person, the syllabus whichever you are taking is justified verify among your team.
20 minutes, okay? If you take illustrate, all these can come with the same K4, K5 level. Okay, illustrate all these things. So, like you see a mismatch between the words used and the Bloom's level mentioned here. Okay, and this recognizes K1 and K2 level. Okay, recognize what you see fundamental mostly K1 level. Okay, likewise execute. You need to quantify something. Okay, instead of execute, you can apply, analyze. Okay, you can write here apply or analyze. Okay. It is it? Analyze is K3 answer. Analyze and apply is K3. You can keep it either in a K3 level. Okay. So this one recognize is K1 level. If you want to specifically in this, so this is K1 level. So first your CO, what you have mentioned here, has to match with your Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, this is first thing what you have to do it. See, in case, say for example, next semester you are going to teach a subject in which your CO is not matching with the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, what you do is do the correction. Okay, do the correction, take it to the next device meeting. Okay, but get it approved and record it. Okay, so we have found this issue and it was being corrected. This is what the updation board needs: regular updation, continuous updations. So it is on the hand of individual teacher only. Okay, so if one department single person cannot do this, wherever you find a mistake, experts get involved in editing it. Okay, so I keep a record of the editing. Okay, so now you have this Bloom's taxonomy. So for the question paper, we will take this Bloom's taxonomy only. So now we see everything as a K3 taxonomy, K3 level. See, 100% of the question in K3 level is not possible. Okay, so what we can do is 40% in K1, K2 level and 60% in K3 level. Okay, so K3 or even you can go to K4 level and avoid the higher level, K5, K6, because you are kept it in a K3 level only. Okay, so if multiple faculties are teaching, okay, see, now one thing you want to be very cautious about this is, you keep it in a K3 level. Imagine the multiple faculties are teaching a same subject. So, say they will be focusing only on a K3 level. If a question paper sets the question at a K5 level, okay, so you will have a contradiction over there. Okay, not too much of variation. You can bring it to the lower level, not the higher level. Then you will feel that you will face the consequences. Okay, so better like if you have a K3, do not go beyond K4. Okay, do not go beyond K4. Putting it as a K4 or a K5 or a K6 level. So now we will keep the composition as a 40% K1, K2 level and 60% at a K3, K4 level with a major contribution from a K3 level. Okay, so this is what we will do now. So this is the question paper. So this is the question paper. Okay. This is engineering physics. Okay. What is meant by collision time? Is this question complete? Not to blame anyone here. Okay. What is meant by collision time?
What is mean collision time?
Sorry, what is mean? Okay. What is mean collision time? Sorry. What is mean collision time? Is this question complete? Okay. If someone is not taking that physics subject. Collision time with respect to what? Okay. Collision time with respect to what? Can you complete this question? What is mean collision time?
Student will automatically understand that the collision is related to engineering physics.
Collision of what, sir?
Knowledge.
Madam, engineering physics, there is a concept called
Collision time of electrons. So I feel like collision time of electrons, right? Electrons is missing now. Not you feel like collision of electron is missing, right? Now even for a physics student, okay, it is advisable to put what is mean collision time of electrons. Okay. Yeah, of course, right. Even for a physics, they can interpret it in a instead of an electron. If they have something else, if they can also interpret it in that way, right? List the postulates of classical free electron theory. So this is a K1 level. Okay. Draw energy band diagram of semiconductor. Okay. Energy band diagram of semiconductor. So why do you keep it in a K1 level?
Basically, it is classified into type 1, type 2, into like, so in general, how a semiconductor energy band would be, where the bands are allocated based on these own behaviors.
So should be at least K2 level, right? So it should be at least K2 level, right?
Different K1.
Without understanding, drawing is not possible. So it should be at least K2 level. Because just the definition is K1, decon is K1. Okay, understand and drawing, so it is K2 level.
Ma'am, if anything is given in the textbook and if it is reproduced, it just became.
No. So then is the content will be available in the textbook that is prescribed to them.
Yes.
No. They cannot reproduce without understanding. Diagrams and all.
It's just remembering.
Which one is it? Diagram, huh? Diagram is understanding, sir. Not remembering. Diagram is understanding. When you are reproducing whatever in the textbook also, without understanding, how will be able to reproduce? Means there are students who memorize the diagram and memorize this is something what that only there can be. Okay, understand the number diagram and reproduce not here. So this is, I feel like it is an understanding level. Okay.
Instead of design it's right now. Instead of
Questions again. Number of question only 2 marks to now. So,
but
2 mark question.
Part B, if the question comes now, we can go for.
But do not repeat. Okay, part A, part B, and same concept repeat pannaman. Okay. So define electron concentration in what? Electron concentration matter. In? Just electron concentration. So I feel this question is incomplete. Define electron concentration. Again, this question is incomplete. Okay. Write the formula for fill factor of a solar cell. Okay, this is just a formula I think. So this is K1 cell. It is reproducing the same formula as in the textbook. Formula reproduction is possible. So that is what I say. Whenever I see the diagram, ask it to the book. Okay. Thank you. Is this
percentage level we can fix it.
Yes.
And that is also I will come. Your percentage level is not mentioned in your syllabus. I'll tell you that. Okay. Please.
All the case level in the CEO is okay, but some other came, they are telling this, we have to change that.
Yeah, we also saw in this case itself.
That's
So,
why.
yeah, in the
Previous, no? All in case level now.
Just a name straight.
the last one. In the last point we were also debating, recognize the fundamentals வரும்போதே அது memorization.
Student பார்த்தோம்னா recognize concept. Some different way of giving grade because is there any fixed table போட்டோம்னா இந்த லெவலுக்கு இந்த பிரைஸ் அதுதான் கட்டாயம் யூஸ் verbal cancel பண்ணாமலே அடடா
Explain. So merits and limitations. So this one is K2 level. K2 level. Shall we rephrase it for a K3 level? Because you have CO says CO1 is K3 level. Okay. So you have asked a K1 level, your CO says K3 level. And one more thing, you have these issues. Now you see either or choice. Okay, either or choice. One at a lower level and other at a higher level. There is a tendency that student picks always a lower level question. Okay, so just keep it same. Okay, same level. If this is K3, you put this also as a K3. Okay, so either or choice questions, you can put it at the same level.
My doubt, madam.
Yes, sir.
That is mandatory, madam.
Not mandatory, but it's not mandatory.
Yes.
It's not mandatory.
But when you are calculating a COPO mapping with the answers,
That is what
A and B.
We might have fixed the percentage level, sir.
Yes.
No, but in this thing is not percentage level is not fixed. Okay. Percentage level is not fixed in it. That is why you did not place any issue. But if you fix it, maybe you
Yes.
that also you can do it independently for a student. That you will have all your control.
When party questions are in K1 level, so any other level can we take?
Yes. Yes.
Because,
Yes.
party questions.
Yeah. Can be any other level. Okay.
Explain the words. The 40% is so much
The first is 6A. Marks are 6 and 6. The level is 1. Then the root is 1 is in the diagram. 2 is then the root is K1 K2 down is almost in the case. Then I
Yes, for autonomous institution like us, so what advisable percentage of levels you can recommend for us?
40% K1, K2, 60% K3, that's what 40% K1, K2, 60% in K3, K4, K5. Okay, so you frame your syllabus that way. It is available in ACD norms itself. 40% K1, K2, 60% okay, right? Not going deep into it. Did I say so this is fine.
50% from K3 K4, so 40% from K1 K3 to K6.
K6 theory la question project lab la
I think there is an opportunity in this question.
3 questions is
You are only calculating percentage.
Ma'am, actually,
You are only calculating percentage finally. That is what you are doing, right?
ma'am, when they are submitting the report, they will submit for all 3 questions, which means all the COs they will answer.
So you give all 3 questions, all COs.
Yes, it will be like a group of 3 students, ma'am. In the 3, they will have CO1, CO2, CO3.
Okay.
So they will submit the assignment for all the 3 questions, but they will present for only 1.
So you will answer all the 6 questions.
So if you have all COs covered, it is fine. If all COs are not covered, you can put it only on a CO which is covered. Okay.
Have all the COs
If all CO covered, it is fine. If it is not covered, put it on a only the CO that is covered, because you are calculating only percentage. Okay. So percentage is something very good option, but you don't need this kind of extrapolations here. Okay. Fine. So then you have a total mark for different CO in terms of a percentage here.
What is that CO 1, 2, 3, below 3, 3, 3? What is it, ma'am?
Which one, ma'am?
Maximum the CO's attainment. Below that CO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is uniformly given. No, what is it?
Which column you are
Last
talking
13.
Yes, ma'am, exactly.
This is from the syllabus. CO1, I'll tell you. It is from the syllabus. I'll tell you. Okay. Oh, hold on, I'll tell you. Okay. So now you got this right, how percentage is calculated. That right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is how the percentage is calculated. So now, see, you have every student, okay, means student performance based on the COs. Okay, you submit out and take away. This is for 100% again. You can plug the CA1, CA2, CA3 and convert it to 100%. So for every student, you have a percentage mark. Okay, percentage mark with respect to that particular CO. Right? Right? So now that is converted to 1, 2, 3 scale. Now this is student based on the assessment. Okay, so you have separately CLA1, CLA2 assignment. Put together, this is the percentage. Okay, put together, this is a percentage. Now this percentage, you have a classification here. You have a classification here. Okay, so if you see that percentage, if your L1 is 70% of the student scoring, target percentage of mark. So you fix the target. Okay, so what is your target? You fix the target. Target is fixed by you. For example, my target is 55%. The department can fix the target. Okay, 55 is too less. Okay, the department can fix the target. Okay, 70% of the student scoring target mark. Then means 75% scoring target is 2. 80% of the student scoring target is 3. Okay. So you have, for example, 60 number of students.
Madam, is there any logic to fix the target?
So you have 49 students here. From the 49 students, okay, so this is a target. So 70% of the students scoring 55 or more than 55 marks. Then you put them, you find the percentage. Okay, 55 or more than 55, you find the percentage. If the percentage is 70%, or okay, you put it in 1. If the percentage is 75%, you put 2. If the percentage is 80%, then you put 3. Range. Okay, mark. Okay, right? So now you understood how 1, 2, 3 came, right? 1, 2, 3. Now how to fix the target? Okay, target mark. Okay, 55. See, target is what the department fixed. For laboratory courses, generally we give talks in the terms of 90s and 80s, 85, right? For laboratory courses, you fix a high targets. Okay, maybe 80-85%. Okay, for a theory one, depending on the theory, you can fix it. Not necessarily it has to be uniform across all theories. If you find that the theory is like mathematics, okay, or numericals, then you have, okay, or some kind of a programming which needs a very high skill, okay, then you can fix it as a 60%. Something you find the subject to be easy, that you can fix a 75%. Okay, so the target fixing is for individual subject.
Subject-wise target fixing.
Subject-wise you can fix them. Subject-wise you can fix the target.
Suppose we are consolidating all the COs and then we will make a.
No, we are consolidating not based on the target, we are consolidating only based on that 1 to 3 points. Okay, so what I say is this target value can be fixed subject-wise.
Ma'am, is it the previous year result?
Previous year result, after seeing a previous result, you can increase your target or sometimes decrease your target. Okay, see by looking at this, everywhere it is 3. Okay, so the first question that evaluator will ask you is, okay, everywhere it is 3, how is this possible? If it is the same for all subjects, so everywhere it will be 3. So your attainment is always met. You don't have any cases where there is no attainment met. See, there is a chance asking here, right? Okay, so this is one thing I see it to be corrected. Okay, or you can also approach this in another way. Okay, say for example, I fix a target of 70%. I fix, okay, I want a student to score 70 out of 100. Okay, I fix a target, or I fix 3 targets. 70, 60, 80. 80 above, 70 to 80, 60 to 70. Or less than 70. Maybe, okay, maybe I'll write it here. We can fix a target something like this. Above 80. Above 80. Okay. 80 to 60. 80 to 60. Less than 60. Less than 60. Okay, 3 scale, right? Now we give this. So now above 80, I say that this is 3 point. Okay, I give a point 2 for the student who is scoring the mark 80 to 60. Okay, I give point 1 for the student who is scoring the mark less than 60. Okay, then I take an average out of it. Now add all this. So I am giving a weightage here itself. Okay, so okay, right? So if I போட்டீங்கன்னா உங்களோட இங்க வேல்யூ வந்து கண்டிப்பா கம்மியா தான் இருக்கும். Okay, to 3 scale maximum scale is 3. நம்ம 3 scale க்கு evaluate பண்ணும்போது you 2.2 1 point sometimes 2.8 அப்படி இருக்கும். So இந்த scale வந்து department can decide. Okay, either you are going with this type or this type, department can decide. Okay,
2.8 means sometimes around
3 scale na 2.8. 3 scale na. Okay, not rounding up.
Subject wise it is very the same thing should be followed.
But department can have a norms in fixing up. For example, okay, say you classify the subject into 2, difficult and easy subject. Difficult subject I fix 1 norm, easy subject I fix norm, and laboratory subject I fix 1 norm. Even 3 norms department. Okay, so department
the current information, whatever we are deciding, these things should be recorded in any one of our meetings, like your department
Program
meeting or
advice.
PAT meeting. So committee is asking how did you do, not that minutes we have to show. In this particular minutes we have decided everything, and somebody has approved this, so we are following it.
Okay, fine. So this is also fine. This way going is also fine. But fix a better target. Not like everywhere it is 3. Okay. So when the 55 average is 55 to the 70% of the student will be, means 80% of the student will be scoring more than 65. Then it will be always 3. Okay. So in the target value is something you need to focus on. Okay. Now this is attained value. Okay. this is attained value. Means target, this is your target and so this is an attained value. Okay, CO attained. Now you have to compare with what is maximum, right? So for example, 7 out of 10. This is something which represents what is the mark you scored, the CO that scored. Okay, so what is the maximum mark? That is comes from the syllabus. Okay, that comes from the syllabus. So in your syllabus, if you see, so this is your syllabus here. If you see it, okay, this is not for the particular that same subject. Okay, but under 3 in the CO, in the values and the average pandanga. Okay, right? So in every 3 the average
Organic chemistry subjects. Organic chemistry. Subject.
What is
We need to convert to 3 scale or 1.5 scale, not 3 scale here. 1.5 scale ke da convert panna. Okay, so it is mandatory that curriculum revise consumer, curriculum department and IQAC team sit and devise a consistent method so that the mapping level and the attainment level are in the same scale, matches with the same scale. Okay, first revision you have to do this. This part the way and the 1.2 compare panni paatha by sure they will ask you this question. Okay, fine. Any query here? So you can fix a target for the attained value. Okay, if it is CO attainment, now PO attainment. PO attainment.
Madam, you mean that the target is to be verified before adding the course exit survey, right? Before including the course exit survey, we should verify whether the target has been met or not. Or after adding the course exit.
Target after adding. Okay, after but the denominator value cannot be less than the numerator. That is for sure. Okay. I'll take some of the all these numbers are given is this particular CO, okay, maps with the PO1 with the scale of 3. So this is mapped with the 1 to 3 scale. Okay, so the meaning over here is this particular CO was mapped with the PO1. PO1, you know what is PO1? So CO1 is mapped with this PO1 at the scale of 3. How do you decide the scale? Based on the performance indicator that you decide for a particular CO. Okay, so based on the performance indicator you decide the scale. So either 1, 2 or 3, okay, or 0. So if it is dash, it means that it is 0, you can just ignore it. So only 4 scales, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this course is an integrated course. Okay, theory as well as lab integrated course. So you have PO1, PO2, PO3 mapped. And PO5 is for the tools. Okay. So tool usage, right? So PO5, so it is mapped with this. And the PO9 and 10, it is more related to a group working and all this. So I find the scale to be very high here. So you can give it as 1 because only for the evaluations and on the lab component alone you see it. So this relevance of the scale 2 is to be high. So you have to do the scaling perfectly for the particular performance indicators. Okay. So this, I feel this PO9 and 10, the scale is high over here. Okay, right? So since this is for a lab course, you have this mapping, but 2 and 3 mapping is very high. This theory as well as a lab course here. Okay, now if you take an average of PO1, so this is an average scale. So 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So and divided by 5. Okay, right? 2 point something you will have it. So that is the denominator value here. PO1 attainment. Okay, so your attainment PO, that calculation has to be lesser than this denominator value. So it is always for CO as well as PO. This is the denominator value. Okay, 70 out of 100 only, not 70 out of 60. Okay, so this is something I can see it in your calculations. So that has to be corrected. Okay, so it doesn't mean go revise the previous file, but future like carry on just do it that way. Okay, not like revise the previous file. Okay, fine. So this is one thing. Now you just see this course. This is an integrated course. So maybe senior since I was discussing about the psychomotor skills, right? And psychomotor level P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. Okay, lab. If you have a lab course, always map with the K level as well as P level. Okay. Now if you see, this course is mapped only with the K level. This course is mapped only with the K level. So in the Luke's level or column, இன்னொரு column in the P level, psychomotor skill column we use பண்ணுங்க. Okay, இன்னொரு column integrated course, இன்னொரு column add பண்ணிட்டு base level. என்னங்க P level base level. Psychomotor level. I will show you one P1 to P5 sample. I will show you. Okay. So if இன்னொரு integrated course next time revise பண்ணீங்கன்னா you can add one more column here, P level, for a lab purpose. Lab is K level as well as P level. Theory to only K level. Okay. Theory to only K level. Okay. So from this syllabus, I understand that you handle lab separately, theory separately. Okay. And that is what I understand from this course, from this syllabus. Okay. But don't do it that way. Take theory and lab parallelly. Okay. Take theory and lab parallelly, and over, if you don't have a lab session for this, do not assign anything to this. Start your lab only if you have it in the CO2. Okay, over level assign பண்ணிட்டு you evaluate that level by forming a suitable rubrics assessment. Okay, so any doubt here? Any doubt here? Now you need a sample engineering knowledge எல்லாத்துக்குமே 3 போடலாம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 3 போடலாம். இப்போ மேனேஜ்மென்ட் சப்ஜெக்ட் இருந்தா அந்த இடத்துல இன்ஜினியரிங் ஸ்கில் வேணும்னா அந்த இடத்துல 3 போடாதீங்க. அதுபடி டேட்டா சயின்ஸ்ல போடலாம். டேட்டா ஸ்கில்ல போடலாம். ஓகே. I have ஒரு ethics course. Okay. Ethics course இருக்கு. Ethics க்கு engineering knowledge வேணும். அந்த இடத்துல போடாதீங்க. Just make it 0. Subject பொறுத்து 3 போடலாம். Yes. Okay, individual teacher, subject expert can handle. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, just when you frame a syllabus, give an individual person responsibility. Okay, or a leader, the one who frames one expertise. You can also add an industrial expertise, internal expertise, industrial expertise. Give them a credit. Add their name here. Okay, this is apart from my COPO mapping. Okay, I am not into this one, but give them a credit. They will take care of this. Okay, you can add an industrial expertise in this if you want. Okay, and tell that we revise the syllabus. Maybe you can add alumni also here and tell them that we are revising the syllabus based on this alumni feedback. Okay. I'll show you an example for psychomotor skill that the P level mapping. Shall we have a break now? Yes, ma'am. We'll break and then we'll deliver. We have never noticed the P level mapping. So, ma'am, P level, it is integrated course, and it is coming only now. Before that, we don't have an integrated Okay, why can't you be an example, introduce the psychometric level and make it?
University syllabus we have gone through.
EAG also they are not.
But this is the correct way to do it. Okay. This is what we teach and this is what the correct way.
NBA expert committee knows about that.
Yes. Yes. Not the comment. Okay. Just keep this in your future option. Okay. So fine. Okay. So ma'am was insisting to show my calculation. Okay. See, this is something which I prepared when I was working for SLM year before. Okay. So we also do these calculations. Okay.
Madam to share this sheet.
I'll share it afterwards. Now if you see this is what I was telling you. This is CO as per syllabus. Okay. This is CO as per syllabus. And this is the attainment in 3-point scale. So you see this attainment in 3-point scale is always less than the marked value. Okay. Right? Attainment is you fix it up, you check it with the after attainment. You check it with the target whether your attainment is above target or below target.
Here only we have to declare whether CO1 has been attained or not.
Attained or not. This is the attainment value. Okay. So you see that attainment value. Okay. Attainment value is something less than your target. Sorry, less than your marked value. Marked value. Okay. So I have a set of sheets attached to this. Maybe we will not be having a time to explain all this. I have few things to be removed like student's name, subject name, everything. I'll remove it and I will send it to ma'am. Okay? This is my calculation for my subject, what we follow. Okay? And it is not necessary that you have to only follow this, but this is something mandatory that your attainment value should be always less than your master. Okay, right? So, any clarifications you needed on this?
Again, this attainment level includes the student course exit survey.
No, that is separate. This is direct and that is indirect. How much weightage you give? 20%. And how do you collect your data? 20%?
Stakeholder survey.
Who are the stakeholders here?
Alumni.
surveys. For CO attainment, only course exit survey. CO attainment. For PO attainment, alumni survey, employee survey, student exit survey.
And one CO is equal, right? The CO5. Both are
Equal can be there, sir.
Equal is fine. Everywhere equal. So then your accreditation committee will ask always why it is equal. They already asked. Okay, right? So I will share this sheet. Okay. Maybe when some other time, only for this PO or something else will be, I'll also tell you the calculations. Okay. So this is for the subject that I taught. Okay. So I'll close this now. Now we will continue with our presentation. Okay. See, something we have left started during a morning session. That also I will complete it here. Okay. Sir? PO attainment you have talked about.
So far we are discussing with the internal exam. Inside this exam, we are compare
that as a data for an improvement purpose, what you can do is, you have this level of analysis, okay, means mark wise, student wise, you have the CO wise. Okay, what you can do is, you can do a small analysis based on the CO. You have total marks obtained. Okay, you can check it either through some kind of a plot, okay, or something, or by looking into the data, analyzing the data, you can check where the student is lagging. Okay, in which topic the student is lagging, and you give the proof. This is my analysis, this is my COPO attainment. Okay, from the COPO attainment, we find that student is lagging in this portion. Okay, then find out the reason. Okay, you all document this. Okay, in your course file, in your COPO mapping file, you document all this. Okay, so this is my calculations. Okay, this shows that we are lagging in this portion. Why is that? Because maybe lack of prerequisite in that specific area. Okay, so prerequisite, you analyze the reason, that may be the reason, lack of prerequisite in this specific area. So my prerequisite is missing, so I will organize an extra class for giving a prerequisite. Now attach the schedule of an extra class or attendance of an extra class and say that this is being done. Okay, this is what the closing of loop means here. Okay, so this COPO attainment is not just for the sake of result analysis, it is also for a quality purpose, quality training, quality teaching process. Okay, so closing a loop is very important when you do any kind of this analysis.
This you should do at the end of the semester or after the completion of first semester?
Your CIA 1 is not at the end of the semester. Okay, so immediately after you get up this one, you do it and keep these document after your CAA 1. You did this. Okay, and any quality assurance process should be closed. Okay, like I have this result. Okay, it's not only in a teaching learning, any engineering quality assurance process also, you find the error and correct it. Okay, find the issue and solve it. That is the quality assurance process. Okay, so if you want to improve your teaching learning process, so you use this assessment tool as a key tool for improving it. Okay, so this is one of the quality assurance process that we undergo in our day-to-day activities. Okay, not at the end of the semester. You can also use at the end of the semester. End of the semester, see for example, you have something where the target is not attained. Okay, target attain maybe first year come here, the second year come here, the target attain So what is that? Maybe difficulty level the student next curriculum revision we have taken care of it. And the proof you can create it. Okay, so this the specific subject, and it is very easy to do it also. Specific subject, end the subject revise pandringlo, and the subject you just focus on that subject and find out, okay, this is what happened in it, so we are revising it. And it's very easy. If you are focusing subject by subject, it's very easy to do it. So curriculum revisions, you can give these are all as a support. Okay, so closing the loop is very, very important. But we never do, we fail it in that. As far as we are concerned, what is closing the loop is, after result analysis, we will see what is the percentage of failure or a student less than 50 marks. We will list out the student and we will ask for an extra class for the student. Okay, so that is not the closing loop here. We identify what exactly the problem is and we rectify that problem. And the rectification of the problem can be an curriculum revision, and the rectification of the problem can be an extra tutorial class.
Arranging value added
arranging value added course. Yeah, these are all like extra, or arranging an industrial visit. Okay, maybe the problem is too much industrial oriented. The student was not able to get it, so I arrange an industrial visit and make this concept more clear. Okay, and you can also produce a proof of it. Maybe end semester you have a answer for that. You can also produce a proof of it.
Similarly, changing the teaching pedagogy also can be done.
Yes. Okay, so if this is something, the closing the loop that I mean, not just the result analysis, final 1 point, not that way. Okay, so this is mandatory for any course file preparation. CO-PO5 preparations.
So we have to maintain all these things in the post-filing session.
Yes, not CO-PO5, yeah, post-fill.
This action taken.
Yes, post-fill. Okay, that is why all MBA accreditation team will ask for what is action taken report. What is action taken report? Okay, so in an action taken report, you have to document these two things. One is how do you identify the exact problem? Okay, how do we identify the exact problem? Through this assessment or feedback. You can put everything. Okay, assessment, feedback. These are the tools for identifying exact problem. Okay, so not two things, three things in the action taken report. How do you identify the problem? Document for that. Okay, and what you do for rectifications. After rectification, what is the result? Okay, these three things important in an action taken report. How do you identify the problem? What you do to rectify the problem? And after rectification means after that action taken, what is the result? Is there any improvement? Okay, so these three things is needed in the action taken report. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, you have very good source of data here. If this data is a real data, you have a very good source of data. Okay. So you now here? Yeah, yes ma'am. Something? This is what your course should contain. So you have this mission statement of an institution. Okay. So PO, okay. Then PO, PSO, CO, okay. Assessment questions related to this PO, CO and PSO. Okay. And attainment measure or achievement, then action continuous improvement. Okay. So this is what your order of things what you should have in the course file. Okay. This mission statement, PSO, all this, even if you keep it in every course file, that is also fine. Or you keep it as a comment, that is fine. Okay. So now if you see this, we have already seen, right? So you frame a question on your assessment control to CO, but the CO is formed by clubbing all PI. Okay, and PI is related to PO through competencies. Okay, so you have a link for every documents. Okay, so see, everything is linked one after the other. Okay, and it is all linked only through the assessment mark. Okay, only through an assessment mark, either theory-based question or a lab task that you are doing. Okay, so every mark that you award to a student has a meaning. Okay, so this is something all teacher has to keep in mind. Every mark that you award to a student has a meaning in it. Okay, because this is what the question what you give, the mark that you give is directly related to this. Okay, maybe it sounds too hard, but every mark that you award to a student has a meaning in it. Okay, fine. So this is something we all do it. Okay, we already discussed also. Okay, if you have a if you want to write any CO, you can keep this as a template for writing a CO. Okay, so if anyone writes a CO, you can keep this as a template for writing a CO. Action verb, the content and conditions and standards is something they have to follow. Okay, so use this as a template for forming a CO. Okay, see, so develop and test. So you have two COs here, two action verbs here, develop and test. Okay, so the content is, this is the content. Okay, the contents, conditions and standards are described by this. Okay, so now I have develop and test. So I give marking with the Bloom's taxonomy as well as the psychomotor scale. Okay, so this is how your CO is formed. Okay, keep this as a template when you write a CO. Not too many words, not too less words. Just keep this as a template. Okay, see everyone follows like every unit one CO. That is something a good practice. So you have 5 COs, not more than 6, right? So 4 to 6 COs per subject I'll tell you what is that. It is not like unit wise CO. See, in our olden days, what we used to do, we give an equal weightage to a unit. Okay. See, some COs may take 20 means 15 hours. Some COs may take only 10 hours to cover. Okay. Do not keep a constant means unit distributions like every CO will take 15 hours of lecture. Okay, that's something that's what you have to change. You can keep it unit wise, that is not a problem. But the lecture hour or a content hour, not necessarily it has to be equally distributed. That is what the main thing. Okay. So this we have already, you know this, we are following this. When do you give 3, when do you give 2 and when do you give 1 is, if CO and PO are strongly correlated, you give 3. Okay. If the correlation is moderate between CO and PO, you give it as 2. And there is no low correlation, give it as 1. Okay. And if there is no correlation, leave it empty or put it as 0. Okay. So this is a 3 scale. This correlation is between CO and the PO. Okay. This correlation is between CO and PO. So I say that the CO1 is not PO1 with a strong correlation. That is the meaning of this 3 here. Okay. If I put here 1 here, CO1 is mapped to PO5 with a low correlation 1. There is no relation with CO1 to PO3. Okay.
For this correlation, shall we use that performance indicator?
Yeah, performance indicator. See, all performance indicator put together is only CO1. Okay. So we can go with an example. Yeah, detailed session is possible. Like all this PI is only COI. All questions, mapping, all done based on performance indicator only. Okay.
What is that? Faculty validation is done. Faculty validation.
I'll tell you. So now this is see when you are going for the mapping. See when you are going for the mapping, you ask this question: why does this CO contribute to this PO? If you have an answer for this, why is this contribution? Then you can map it accordingly. Okay. So when you are mapping, when you are forming a syllabus, when you are mapping, you just ask this question: why does this CO contribute to this PO? If you have an answer for this, you can map it correctly. Okay, this is my way of doing. I am doing it this.
Do we have any rule for mapping a CO with PO? It is 3.
Whether 3 or 2 or 1.
Do we have any rule?
No such rule. That's what I say. It all depends on the specific topic that you are looking for. Specific subject. That's what I say. You ask this question: why does this CO contribute to this PO? If you find a contribution, then accordingly, what type of contribution you are having, then accordingly map it. Okay. Fine. So now for this mapping evidence, you can keep all this as a mapping evidence. Okay. Your syllabus, unit and topic. Okay. And what is the CO verb you are using and a cognitive level. Okay. The questions. Okay. And task mapping. Lab projects, rubrics, criteria. All this you can keep it like this. Faculty validation minutes. What I mean is faculty feedback minutes. Okay, maybe you can take it better. Faculty feedback. Okay, if you take your faculty feedback or course coordinators can map this faculty validation minutes. Okay, right? So this is how you decide the mapping. So it is not decided just on the desk. Okay. So you sit in a group, have a small meeting and discuss with all the faculty who is teaching this course and then ask this question and map it. Do it very carefully. Okay. Right? Because everything is starting from here only. Okay. Everything is starting from here only. So do it very carefully when you map it. So all 11 POs, it is not necessary that all CO has to be mapped. Okay, fine. So now, once you do this, okay, see this is what you have it, right? Continuous internal assessment and then second semester examination. Okay, end semester examinations. Okay, see if doing it. Okay, you are doing this every assessment, every end semester to be mapped to CO. Okay, see if you have any single question that is not mapped to CO, then there is no use of asking that question. Okay, because CO-PO mapping, that is what we are doing now. A single question that is left without the CO-PO mapping is something there is no use in it. Okay, every single question has to be mapped. Okay, so when you are mapping it, say how you do this mapping, how you attain this outcome based, whether how we are checking whether outcome is met or not. So we keep the evidence of answer sheets. Okay, so this answer sheet should be a part of your CO course file. Okay, scripts, student answer sheet. So okay, these are evidence you are trying to create, right? So evidence, okay, key or rubrics. Key we find it for a theory question. Lab question, we don't give it the key, we give only rubrics. Do we? Lab. Okay. So rubrics. Okay. If you have any projects, maybe the presentation file. Okay. Demo in the sense, demo it's not exactly possible, but you can keep a presentation file. Okay. Or any Viva minutes. Okay. So these are kept. This has to be kept as an evidence for evidence in your course file. Okay. For documentation purpose, this is mandatory that it has to this documents to be there in the course file. Okay.
In the report you can add the CD of the project.
Yes. So you can not CD also. You can put it in a drive and put the link also file link. That is fine. Every data should be traceable. Okay. Every data should be traceable. Not necessarily it has to be in that, but it should be traceable. Okay. So all this work in one day or a 1 month is not possible. Okay. So something it's a continuous process. Continuous process, day-to-day process. We do it as we do it for our day-to-day work. Okay. Once we are used to this, this will become very easy for us rather than going and sitting, working back and doing everything. Okay, I have been preparing, we have tried, okay, maybe 4-5 years now, we used to back up the data. I did it, okay, it is not so easy. Okay, so I do understand the issues here. Okay, so this is what we are saying, right? So like you get this here as a 55% mark. Okay, so now you fix your target. Okay, for a calculated direct CO attainment, you can use it this way. So you fix your target. Okay, so my mark should be greater than 60%. Or you can say that 50% is a fail mark, so I will keep it more than 50%. If a student get less than 50%, I award 0. Okay, 50 to 71, 72 or 50 to 61, 60 to 82, above 83. So I showed you the range, right? So you can fix the range that way. Okay, so here you see level 1, 50 to 59, student meets the target. So 50 to 59% of the student meets the target. Okay, level 2 is 60 to 69% student meets the target. Level 3 is greater than 70% of the student meets the target. So you can keep a target like this. From the target, so direct CO attainment is weighted contribution coming from everything. Okay, it's a weighted value coming from everything. Okay, all your internal assessment, end semester. If you have a lab integrated, project integrated, it should be a weighted value of everything. Okay, for example, for particular CO1, if you are giving 50, this one is 50%, end semester is 50%, it should be the weighted. We are doing this, right? We are doing this. Okay. Maybe we don't have a lab component separately, but we are doing this. Okay. See, there is something, a new idea coming in is project-based learning. Every theory can be treated as a project-based learning. Okay. So you give a project for each theory instead of kind of an assignment. Okay. You evaluate the project-based learning. See, if you have a 6 subject in a semester, you may prefer to give one subject as a project-based learning. Okay, if you have that subject as a project-based learning, then this project will also be part of this. Okay, this project will also be a part of it. Maybe you have to give a weightage for this and measure.
Shouldn't be equal weightage, madam, because here weightage will differ.
Which one, ma'am?
Internal and end semester weightage.
Not necessary to be equal. I just gave a sample here.
Mini project is there, ma'am.
Ma'am, mini project is a separate
Semester.
subject. I mean the project interrelated theory.
Project interface of theory.
Project based theory. This subject will be organized as project based studies. All subjects not possible. Okay, specific is heavy burden. So, particularly based semester, you can award it bucket of also. Okay, and for student also doing.
Now you are telling that mapping center against the.
Yes.
Okay, then what is the advisable proportion of the surveys, madam? Actually,
This indirect direct. Indirect direct
For
is.
example, direct 70, indirect 30, and the 30 also split is
No, I didn't think. We are asking the proportion of direct indirect.
PO attainment, direct 70, indirect 30. Indirect 30 includes all these performs.
All these are.
Indirect. So proportion of 30.
Not necessary you have to give all this. Okay, not necessary that you have to conduct an exit survey for alumni, employer feedback, internship, everything may not be possible for all subjects. You can pick this subject wise also. You are taking a feedback subject wise only, right?
For PO attainment, I mean, not CO. PO attainment, at the end of every final year, they collect an exit survey, student exit survey.
Okay.
Alumni survey also they will collect, employee survey on that particular batch they will collect.
Okay.
And that batch, if suppose they have gone for some industrial visits, projects, events organized also, we should collect feedback, madam.
Only ends with.
Now, if you are collecting this as a PO attainment, how do you map it to a particular course? You take the same value.
Indirect is not mapped to courses, so finally, some set of questions will be there. Those questions will be mapped to POs.
So then you don't do CO to direct, indirect attainment.
Madam, explain the system, can you explain? PO attainment system.
Survey
Course exit survey.
course exit survey.
அப்புறம்
வந்து employee survey, alumni survey.
Course exit or program exit?
Course exit.
Program exit survey பண்ணுவோம். program பண்றோம்.
Madam, course exit survey for CO attainment. All COs are attained. Now,
அப்புறம் PO attainment பண்ணுவாங்க.
PO attainmentல
The CO attainment is for a particular course.
After getting the university result for the particular course and if 80% of or 80-20 அப்படி வெச்சோம்னா 80 வந்து நம்ம இங்க இருந்து டைரக்ட் பண்ணுவோம். 20 வந்து அப்ப அதுல course exit survey.
அது
அதுல alumni survey ஆட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க.
அது நீங்க
கோர்ஸ்ல வராது. மேம் கோர்ஸ் at CO வந்தாச்சு. எல்லா CO யும் உன்னோட எல்லா CO
Okay, total PO attainment, okay.
30% okay வா?
You have any specific range when keeping it? What is the percentage?
30 வந்து alumni 10 இருக்கலாம், employer
there is no specific thing. I have not seen so far. There is no specific and some it's all depends on like either alumni survey மட்டும் இருக்கும் இல்ல employee feedback together இருக்கும். Something இங்க faculty feedback கூட add பண்ணிருக்கோம். Some faculty feedback கூட you can add.
course வந்து இத மாத்தலாம் சொல்றாங்க.
Maybe faculty feedback வந்து course இதுல add பண்ணுங்க. I have seen adding faculty feedback in a indirect calculation for the course exit.
Similarly, all events organized, the feedback of events organized also can be taken into direct survey.
Yes. Okay. There is no specific ratio which is to be followed. No specific ratio. I had once chance to roughly go through that ACT exam policy. Okay. I have never seen any ratios.
I have shared that examination report in the book now. And also performance indicator mapping also.
Okay, right? So this is what you have. content, course file, this is what it should have. Okay. The content and the course file. We do all this. Okay. We do all this syllabus, CO statement, CO PO mapping. Okay. And I have one more thing. See, generally some of the curriculum will also have this blueprint. Okay. Assessment blueprint. Distribution. Distributions means for an assessment. But our curriculum, whatever you have now, that does not have a blueprint. Okay. Maybe you can have it as a separate document, blueprint document. You have it?
Question paper.
No, right? Key, madam. Not key, sir. Key is for the particular sessions. Blueprint of this syllabus.
Curriculum it has, but we are not taking the course.
Or you have it in a curriculum.
Yes, curriculum.
The thing is, students should aware of this. Okay. When you start it, students should know this. Okay. So if you already have it in a curriculum, just you project to the student before you start the class. Okay. And make sure your assessment is as per the blueprint. You mean rubrics or something else? Rubrics is enough. Rubrics is for the test. Blueprint, curriculum and have to be a blueprint. You have, can you project it? Even article and other project. Maybe tomorrow you project it and show it to everyone. இல்ல 40-60 வந்து நீங்க இன்டர் எக்ஸ்டர்னல் மட்டும் சொல்றீங்க. CO wise blueprint I'm talking about a CO wise blueprint, not only a final examination blueprint. CO wise blueprint. Okay. Just if you have it projected in the next. Okay. Then question paper with CO tag. Okay. So this is something. If the question is not mapped to CO, then there is no use of asking that question to the student. Okay. So the question paper should be tagged with the CO, a strict sentence here. Okay. An answer key, evaluation. If it is an open-ended questions, rubrics. Okay. Since I am saying about an open-ended question, see there is also something open book test, open-ended laboratory. Okay. So you conduct an open-ended laboratory. If you do all this, then this answer key scheme will not be validated. But you use a rubrics, open book test, or any kind of open-ended experiment. You use a rubrics here. Okay. So CO wise mark sheet, we are doing it, right? That CO wise mark sheet, attendance and remedial records from this. Okay. Sample evaluated script. This is what I was mentioning as an evidence. Okay. So CO attainment sheet and gap analysis action taken is I have classified this in the 3 class. Okay, 3 documents.
Sample analysis, there is any range, ma'am? You have to take any range.
So you see to that one bit value, low value, and high value. Not too low. Each one. Not too many also. Just see to that. I have an experience of MBA team asking like we get everything high. They are asked to bring a new sheet. That experience also I have. So see to that all 3 together. Okay. And as I told you, you can keep the document in a drive and every evidence should be easily retrievable or traceable. Okay, very important. Okay. So if you have a evidence, if you have any evidence.
Gap analysis.
What is it? Action taken. Find out what is the issue. Okay. There's 3 steps that I told you, right? This gap analysis, right? I told you, no? This one. Say for example, we have CO attainment. We are analyzing the mark, and you see that the student performance in this particular topic is less. Okay, so that was identified through a CO analysis. Okay, so now what is the action taken? Maybe you are conducting a tutorial class for that. Okay, so you have 2-3 tutorial classes. So you give the schedule of classes, conducted classes, attendance classes. That is all as an action taken. That your gap is here. There is too much of a numericals involved, you are not able to cover. That is your gap. Okay. Action taken is you are conducting the class and other things.
The gap analysis every any format is there now.
Gap analysis. As of now, we do this gap analysis based on the feedback and CO marks, assessment marks. Okay. Specific particular subject but we do a feedback. Feedback which a gap analysis panala. And assessment mark which a gap analysis panala. Assessment mark does not have one topic in the mark come here, in the topic the mark come here. So the gap, okay, why it does happen? And the analysis of what I am doing as a gap analysis. Okay, if you want, you can follow the methodology. Okay, say for example, number of students or 60 mark we have so I consider that to be means nice student there is some lag in either a teaching process the lag can be in either prerequisite understand so industrial research support so the report action industrial research action taken report best lecture is an action taken report for this gap analysis. Okay, right? Any doubt here, gap analysis and action taken? You can also do one thing. The feedback or action taken report or result you can also include. Okay, so these are the documents that you need it in the course file. Okay, fine. So this is sample calculation. Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yes, sir.
In previous one we have course for example. Did that be not add a class notes?
I think that is a lesson plan.
Lesson
Course. Lesson plan. Okay, separate. So each course file has a lesson plan as well as this. Each course has a 2 file. That is what NBA asked for. The lesson plan not necessarily it should be a hard copy. You can put it in a drive and the drive should be traceable. Okay. And this we have seen. Okay. So this is what I was mentioning. This we have seen. Okay. So this is what we are doing and we have seen this. Okay. So any clarification needed here? Any clarifications needed here?
Many AI tools can be used, madam. That is what
AI is there.
This is normal calculation.
AI tools.
Our course is AI
will be comfortable.
COQ mapping alone.
AI tool வந்து நீங்க prompt correct-ஆ கொடுத்து CO form பண்ணலாம்.
COQ mapping alone can be done.
Alone can be done.
Mapping. Just initial level mapping can
be done, sir. And it can be done, okay. But whatever AI gives, any generative AI can do this, okay. Not specific tool, any generative AI. ChatGPT can do this, Gemini can do this. But you have to verify it, okay. You have to verify calculation one. You have to verify everything. You cannot just take it as a final statement.
Only 15% can be done. Remaining all rest of the percentage work we have to do.
What I am asking is, like in the morning we have seen many tools. Like that, any tools are available ready-made. Then we can.
That is I told you, sir.
Sir, any generative AI can help, okay. But you have to verify everything. Fine. you just take the feedback of the previous semester, implementation evidence, put it in the next cycle. Okay, so next cycle you show the evidence. Okay, this has been achieved from the previous year, so we are making it this year. Okay, right? Say for example, previous year you have low COP one, right? So you do the root cause analysis, action upload, implementation evidence. This implementation evidence take it to the next cycle. Okay, this is one example here. Closing the loop, this is what I was insisting because I've seen many file lacks this. Okay, this is something I wanted to say, not necessarily this is to be followed, but we always sit a month before and make an accreditation. Okay, so you do an audit. Okay, so IQAC team can take care of this. So and you see, I just kept an audit at the gap of 90 days before, 60 days before, 30 days before, and you can mark the file. Okay, say something here. Yeah, you can mark the file. 3 different files you classify. Okay, good, medium, low. Okay, always project only the file that is good. Okay, if they ask for a specific example, then you show it. Okay, so always you mark, you differentiate your file. Not necessary that 100% of all the subject will be good. Okay, and you mark it. Mark it, project in front only which are the subject that is very good. Okay, keep every file, keep it ready, but project something that is very good. This will help you in getting a higher score. Okay, so for marking those things, this kind of a visit, internal audit will be useful. Okay, if you do not have a system of internal audit many times, you can just keep this in mind when you plan it. Okay, not one time internal audit, many time internal audit. Okay, and at the end of this internal audit, you mark which file is in the good category, which file is in the moderate category, which file is in the low category. Okay, project always the one which is very good. Okay, fine. So that's what I used here, signal, red, amber, green, amber, red status. 3. Okay, green, amber, red status. This is because the file you classify it. Okay, project always this green. Okay, fine. Any doubt? So, shall we close it? And this is something common with first comes like this. We'll close it here.
Today's afternoon session started with a question, is COPO attainment is a distant vision, but Madam's session has proved it as a reachable reality. Thank you ma'am for inspiring us to make COPO attainment a measurable reality and for enriching our academic perspective. Your valuable guidance will undoubtedly support us in enhancing the quality of teaching, learning and assessment. Thank you ma'am. And feedback is posted in the link.